Today.
It is. We're seeing a more widespread area of our region feeling the impacts from this wind. As right now in Worcester, we're seeing wind gusts up to about 38 miles per hour, not too far off from that as we move toward the coastline, with Boston checking in with a wind gust of 28. So those wind gusts between 30 to about 35 miles per hour will be it's long lasting and more widespread today. So that's why I do think the wind impact will actually be greater as we hold on to strong wind through about 6 o'clock this evening. Thereafter, the wind will slowly start to die down. Upper 40s to low 50s out the door, getting a little close to the upper 50s as you head out toward areas like Boston and Norwood. But we are seeing more breaks of sun right now. So even though there's a little bit of a chill factor, it's that sun breaking through that will help to make things feel mild despite the wind as we make our way toward the mid 60s. A big warm up in store for us. Your full forecast, including our next round of rain, is ahead. The list of names has also been released. So if you want to try to see if your name is on there, here it is. We are looking ahead to an active outlook in terms of heat. In fact, summer heat in their forecast. Have a look at the hottest days over the past year or so. In fact, if you remember last year and last summer, we had a pretty active stretch too. So from what I understand, the sun is in a very active period right now, and that is why we're seeing more of these CMEs, our coronal mass ejections, which then lead to these aurora sightings that stretch over a larger area of our region. So we are looking at a high likelihood of aurora sightings moving into late tonight between 11 o'clock through about 2 o'clock in the morning. So that is when we're expecting the peak. And you could look at the K index here up to about 7, but the storm forecast is up to about a G4, and that's something you rarely see. So this is a really impressive outlook for the potential of auroras in our area. We are looking at some clouds here this morning, and of course we want to get rid of these clouds so that we can actually see these auroras that are expected overnight. There's definitely some signs of clearing in spots, and that's very evident in Boston and moving just southwest of Boston. Clouds are a little thicker as we move to the north as the last of the drops are moving out of Maine and New Hampshire. But we're sitting in the mid 50s for most spots, so it's starting to get a little bit milder after a cool start this morning. We did have many locations down in the 40s. We make our way toward the mid 60s this afternoon. It's not a huge warm up, and now that we're kicking off June, average highs at this time of year are into the low 70s. So we are below average with these low to mid 60s in the forecast, but I still expect it will feel mild as you're out and about, especially with more breaks of sun expected today when compared to yesterday. One thing I want to consider, the wind is going to be persistent. So yesterday we saw occasional strong wind in spots. Today it's a more widespread area of our region that's going to be dealing with the wind for a longer period of time. By late morning through most of the afternoon, in fact even into the early evening, wind gusts approach 30 to about 35 miles per hour. It will die down tonight, and now the question is, will we clear out enough for us to try to spot this aurora? We move toward that 11 o'clock hour, which is when we are looking to approach peak, and at that hour it does appear that we're mostly clear, although there's a few clouds that are approaching Rhode Island, the South Coast, Cape Cod Islands. So your viewing will likely be a little bit clearer as you move farther northward toward the Pike, and especially north of the Pike. Toward 2 a.m. you can see more of those clouds passing through, especially south of the Pike. And look at the Futurecast is even picking up on a few drops passing through into Rhode Island. But I don't expect we'll see much. And in fact, we'll see more in the way of clearing by tomorrow morning with sunrise. And by 8 a.m. tomorrow, it is a beautiful sunny sky that will greet you. It's a really nice mild kickoff to the work week tomorrow. But then things start to really heat up here as a ridge builds in our jet stream. That is going to bring a midweek significant warm up. And in particular, we're focusing in on Thursday as there is a higher likelihood of a moderate heat impact. It's these areas of orange that indicate where heat indices could climb into the low to mid 90s here. So we're talking about a significant switch in the forecast here in terms of temperatures. And so a big adjustment for not just our bodies, but the AC systems too. So be prepared. You'll definitely want to have some way to cool down here by Wednesday, and the special 30 by late this morning and traveling for much of this afternoon. In fact, it's really not until after sunset that I expect the wind will start to die down. Temperatures are climbing through the mid 50s for most locations. You can see Jaffrey a little colder here, holding on to 49. It's enough of a chill this morning that long sleeves are something you'll benefit from, but it's not going to be a chilly day by any means. In fact, we're seeing some signs of sun breaking through, which will help to heat us up. We have a wind out of the west and it will be gusty, but notice how our temperatures still manage to cross into the mid 60s, just slightly below average. Aurora possible tonight, timing some clearing skies for that sighting. Also looking ahead to a very hot work week, our hottest moments. Your full forecast ahead.